Hello again. In this video, I am going to be taking you on the concepts of family and marriage. My name is Dr. Ashibi Jacob Neji. I encourage you to get your notepad and your pen. Pay attention as I commence this lesson. Cheers. Alright, the course again is Introduction to Sociology, which is CSS111. Without any waste of time, let's go into the topics that we are going to be taking in this lesson. Alright. Okay, so we are looking into the family and marriage. We are going to be treating these two topics in this lesson. All right, so you need to be patient because it's going to be a bit of a long lesson. All right, so you just have to be patient, but then it is an interesting one. So what are the intended learning outcomes in this lesson? What is actually the focus of what you should learn, or the result of this lesson by the time you are done with it? At the completion of this lesson, you should clearly define the term family. Once you are done with this lesson, you should be able to define the term family. All right. You should also be able to define the term marriage. Okay. Then the lesson will also expose you to the types of marriage, and you should be able to demonstrate adequate knowledge on the types of family. Okay, sorry about that, family. The types of family and the types of marriage. Finally, you should be able to state the activities and functions of family. All right, so this is the objective of this lesson, what you as a student, as a learner, should be able to do at the end of this lesson. Okay. All right, so let's quickly go into the first topic, which is the definition of family. Definition of family. What is the meaning of the term family? Family has been severally defined, but then we have adopted one definition that should serve the purpose. Okay, family is defined as a social group, that is a key word there, characterized by common residence, economic cooperation, and production. All right. Let me explain these key words. It entails that for any union to be called a family, it has to be a social group. There must be some level of interaction going on in that union. All right. Again, as a family, members of that union should cohabit in the same residence. They should live together as a family in the same residence. Okay. Again, economic cooperation. There should be that sense of economic cooperation amongst the members of that family, sharing resources together, providing food, clothes, shelter, and all of that. And finally, reproduction is another key element in the definition of family. As a family should be able to reproduce. A family should be able to bring up young ones and train them. All right. So once any group or union has all of these characteristics or all of these keywords, then it is qualified to be termed a family. Right. So in summary, it consists of both sexes. All right, male and female, at least two of whom maintains a socially approved sexual relationship. In this case of a family, should be the husband and the wife that should maintain a socially approved sexual relationship, and one or more children. The children or the child can either be biological, can be owned by them, or adopted of the sexually cohabiting adults. All right, of the parents. That's the couples. Okay. All right. So I hope I am not really here bothering you with so many terms here, but then simply know that family is a social group characterized by common residence. They live together. They share economic cooperation and reproduction. All right, simple as that. All right, let's quickly look into the characteristics of a family. Aside from these elements that we have mentioned here, let's look at some of the key characteristics of a family. All right, these are the characteristics of a family. It is a universal group. It is found everywhere in the world. Everywhere in the world, you will find family units in existence. All right, it is based on marriage. For a family to exist, there must be marriage. Marriage must have taken place. All right, to grant or approve that sexually approved relationship for the male and female to begin to reproduce. It is a source of nomenclature. Yes, it is through family that we are given names, that our names are also preserved, and so it is a source of nomenclature. It is a vehicle of descent and ancestry tracing. It is through family that we get to know our grandparents, our great grandparents, our ancestors. All right. So family has that characteristic that our descent or lineage or ancestry can be traced. It is an institution of socialization. Yes, family helps to socialize the young ones. It helps to transmit the culture into them, so they become part and parcel of the society. It is bound by common ties. Yes, family is bound by common ties. It's bound by love. It's bound by affection. It's bound by emotions. All right. So family members are closely related with so much emotions. It is made up of at least husband and wife and or one or more children, biological or adopted. That is what should constitute a family, at least, okay, at the minimum. All right. Having said that, having looked into the characteristics of family, let's now move into the types of a family to see the different types of family that we have. On the periphery or by common knowledge, students are only exposed, most students are exposed to these types of family. Well, this is just to narrow the nuclear family, the extended family, the polygamous family, the monogamous family. These are really two narrow types of family. There are different, plenty types of families that I am going to be exposing you to right now, and so please let's take them one after the other. These are the different types of families. You can see them. They are categorized under based on birth. You can see the different types of families there. Orientation, procreation, based on marriage. You can see we have polygamy, monogamy, polygamy, polyandry, and polygyny. Then we have based on residence, we have matrilocal, patrilocal, changing. Based on descent, we have matrilineal, patrilineal. Based on nature of relation, we have conjugal, we have consanguine, a type of family. Then based on authority, we have the matriarchal and the patriarchal types of family. Based on size, we now have the nuclear, the joint, or extended. All right, this is used together. All right, the joint or extended. So these are the types of a family. This is a comprehensive categorization of the types of families. All right, so let's take them one after the other according to their grouping. So based on birth, we are going to take that one first. Let's move on to that. Now, family based on birth. Family based on birth, we have the family of orientation. All right, this entails family where an individual is born. For instance, let's say this is a family right here, okay, and this is the man, the husband, and this is the wife. So this individual here born into this family is this immediate family is his or her family of orientation. All right, but then we have another type of family called the family of procreation. This type of family is a family that an individual set up after marriage. For instance, the man here and this woman came together, they got married, all right, so they have now set up their family. This is a new family, it is a fresh one, so it is called a family of procreation. Okay, it is set up immediately after marriage. All right, let's move on to the next type of family based on marriage. Now the family based on marriage, as you can see here, we have a very funny picture here. It's a two husbands, one wife on their way back from wedding. Now these are the two husbands right there. So we have this is a funny picture to depict a type of family based on marriage. Now the first type of family based on marriage is the monogamy. This is the most common type of family. It is constitutes one husband, one wife, and the children. This is the most common type of marriage. All right, this is the most common type of just most common type of family that we have. Okay. All right, sorry. This is in error. It is actually family. Okay. So it is the most common type of family. Then we also have the polygamy. All right, polygamy. Polygamy here, there is this common misconception that it is a situation where one man marries more than one wife. Well, that is not correct. Polygamy is used as a general term to describe a situation where anybody, or a man or a woman, takes more than one spouse. Okay, now it is divided into two. The first one is polygyny, and the second one is polyandry. Now polygyny entails a situation where a husband takes more than one wife. All right, more than one wife. That is polygyny. That is the correct term. All children from the wives are adopted by each of them. Now the wives are the ones that takes care of the children. They adopt as they born, it becomes theirs, and they take care of them. Whereas polyandry is the opposite of polygyny. Right? It is the opposite. It's a situation where one wife takes more than one husband. Okay, one woman, like this woman here now. This woman is in this type of family called polyandry. All right, taking more than one husband. She has two husbands right here. Okay, enough of that. Let's look into the next one: family based on residence. Residence. This implies a family that is based on. Oh, sorry, I think I missed. Just let me go back. Sorry, I had mentioned that this was a mistake. It wasn't. Okay, it was actually correct. It is family based on marriage. All right, so that's correct. Now they are family based on residence. We are not categorizing family based on how the structure of residence is arranged. There is this first one called matrilocal. All right, matrilocal type of family. Anything that is maternal, right? It is from the mother's side or the wife's side. This entails family living with the wife. Okay, the husband, the children are all living in the wife's house. Okay, so that's the matrilocal type of family. It's another family called the patrilocal. This is quite common. It's a situation where the entire family lives in the husband's house. This is the most common one that we find around. The matrilocal type of family is found in a matrilineal society that is well dominated by ladies, where ladies have authority. Okay, they are the ones that inherit the property. It is not really a very common type of family, right? But it does exist. Then we have the changing type of family. This type of family, according to their residence, they change location. They can live in the wife's house, move to the husband's house, move to the husband's parents' house, and so on. So they do not have a very stable location. Okay, so these are the types of families according to their residence. Okay, let's look at another one. Types of family based on descent or ancestral tracing. The first one is the matrilineal type of family. This is when the ancestors or the ancestral tracing is done through the mother side or the female side, right? Matrilineal, meaning maternal, like I said, it entails anything that is done through the woman's side or the mother's side. So the matrilineal type of family, it is based on ancestral tracing through the female side. Then you have the patrilineal, which is the opposite, ancestral tracing through the father or the male's side. Okay, so these are the type of families based on descent. All right, let's take on the next one, which is the type of family based on relation. Relation. The first one we have here is the conjugal type of family. This one is based on marital or sexual relationship between spouses. All right. It has to do with two or more persons who have socially approved sexual relationship. Anybody in that type of relationship is in a conjugal type of family. Okay, and we have the consanguine type of family. This has to do with blood relation. All right, only blood related members are members of this type of family. Those who are not related are not members of the family. House helps, they are not consanguine members of the family. All right, then let's very quickly again move on to the type of family based on authority. Authority. That's why you can see this person standing in front here is the leader of the family of the others. And so in this type of family, we have two types: matriarchal and the patriarchal. Like I said, anything that has to do with maternal is on the woman's side, and so matriarchal type of a family, which is based on authority, requires that the woman is the head of the family. All right, it is common in matrilineal societies that are dominated by women, and of course, it is characterized by matrilocal residence. The entire family members live in the woman's house. All right, the woman is in charge. The woman is the head of the family. Inheritance is all given to the woman. The woman takes control of the property and everything. All right, it is not really a very common type of family type. Okay, it is not really common, but then it exists in some communities. Then the patriarchal type of family based on authority is the one that is really common, where the man is the head of the family. All right, descent and property are passed through the male line. That's ancestral tracing. Properties are all distributed through the male line, not female this time around. That's why I said it is the direct opposite of the matriarchal type of family. Okay, now let's see the type of family based on structure. Structure, we have the nuclear family. This has to do with now the strength of the family members, and we have the extended family. The nuclear family is made up of the husband, the wife, and the children. Okay, the children can either be biological or adopted, and they are made up of just two generations. This is the family in its smallest form. It's the nuclear family, right? So based on structure, again, we have the extended family. This consists of three nuclear families living together. So three generations are living together. For instance, the husband, the wife, the children, the husband's father and mother, and their children. So all of these living together. This is an extended or joint family. It's a very complex type of family system. Okay. All right. Then let's now look into the functions of the family. We have now exhausted the types of family. So let's now look into the functions of the family. According to Murdoch, 1949, he summarized the functions of the family into four types: sexual, reproductive, economic, and educational. For the educational function, it is used in place of socialization. All right, socialization. So for the sexual and reproductive function, of course, procreation is at the center of that. The reproduction of young ones to sustain the human race, continuity. All right, that is a key function of the family. Then the economic function is, of course, the provision of basic needs for family members. The family takes care of that, and the educational, which is of course the socialization, the young ones that are being given birth to are given orientation of the societal norms through the family. Okay, so in summary, these are the functions of the family. Just some of them are derived from these four basic functions. We have procreation, we have provision of individual's identity. Of course, it is through the family that you are known. All right, you are identified. That's why you often hear the question, where are you from? Whose son or daughter are you? So you have to be identified. Again, preservation of names. It is through the family that the names of the forefathers, the ancestors, are being preserved. Okay. Then the family acts as an agent of socialization. It is the family that transfer the existing culture to the younger ones in such a way that the culture is being internalized and practiced. Even when people die, the culture remains, okay, through the process of socialization. Then individual support. The family plays an important function by supporting its own members, giving them the necessary support, especially in distress time, for them to survive. Then they're also responsible for child education. The family takes care of the child, brings up the child educationally, pays all the necessary fees. That is an important function to keep the child educated. All right, we are now done with the functions of the family. We have taken all the key aspects that has to do with the family. So I will now give you a class activity for you to attempt. So I will pause the video, and hopefully you will be able to go through this class activity based on what we have done. So let me just pause the video for 5 seconds while you go through them. Alright, I hope you have gotten the activity, so you try to engage yourself and ensure that you are able to perform all of these questions. You are able to find answers to them. Alright, they are very relevant to this lecture. So let's look into the next topic, marriage. Alright, let's now handle marriage. What is the meaning of marriage? What is the definition of marriage? Well, the world is evolving, times are changing, things are getting more, society is getting more complex. We had definitions of marriage before which were quite simple. In fact, the most simplest was a union between a man and a woman. And you can bear with me that things have really changed today. Marriage is not just a union between a man and a woman. We actually have situations where women marry themselves, even men now marry themselves. Okay, so this definition is now out of place. The first one is a legally recognized relationship that is correct between an adult male, where this is where the fault is. This is where we have the fault, male and female, because marriage these days is done by people of same sex. All right, so this definition is now outdated and it has to be updated. That carries certain rights and obligations. This is correct. Okay. All right. So let's now take on the last definition. It is a culturally recognized union between two people, right, whether they are of same sex or of different sex, of different sexes, right, called spouses, that establishes rights and obligations between them, their children and in-laws. All right, so this covers all types of union, okay, whether they are male, female, covers all of them. So this is a more acceptable type of definition. Okay. All right. So the term marriage can also be called matrimony or wedlock. You can use any of these terms in place of marriage. In case you are asked to provide a synonym or another word for marriage, you can use any of these. All right. Yeah, that is why you often hear people say he got that child out of wedlock. All right, out of wedlock. That's out of marriage. Okay. All right. So I am sure you've gotten the meaning of marriage. So let's now look at the types of marriage. Now, the types of marriage is not really far from the types of families, because family and marriage have very close relationship. Okay, of course, family is born out of marriage, so there's this close relationship, and that is why the types of marriage are also existing in the types of families. Okay, and so the first one is polygyny. Polygyny, remember we have defined that before. It's a situation where one man marries more than one woman at a time. All right, one man taking 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 wives at a time. That type of marriage is called polygyny. All right, polygyny. It is not polygamy. All right, don't make that mistake. It is polygyny. Okay, now the second one is polyandry, which is the opposite of polygyny. It is the opposite of polygyny. Polyandry is a situation where a woman marries several men, one woman taking 2, 3, 4, 5 men as husbands. Okay, that is called polyandry. And then the other one is monogamy. This is the most common type of marriage, where one man marries one woman. All right, like I said, it is the most common type of marriage, one man to one woman. Okay, so that's the last one, which is not really common at all, is group marriage. Group marriage, where you have 2 or more women with 2 or more men, or 2 or more men with 2 or more women. Everything here is common. That is, the children belongs to everybody, the resources belongs to everybody. It is called group marriage. It is not a very common type of marriage to see around. Okay. All right. I hope you get the discussions in this lesson. I will now switch you to lesson activity 2 for you to complete again. Please take your time, go through what we have just done. You should be able to define the term marriage. So what is marriage? You have to list and explain the types of marriage. So I'm going to pause the video just to allow you to get these questions. Alright, so I believe you have now gotten the questions. Thanks for participating in this class. I hope to see you again in the next class. Cheers and bye-bye.